would be like, "Hey, we saw your channel there doing this," and now, like, I don't want to speak about that here,
and I don't want to be that here.
Yes.
I'm not that here.
It's not that I'm a different. Like, I have like multiple personalities. It is just that I'm just here to do my job.
Yeah, let's do a job. I can wear the same skirt as Karen, and it would be covering my knees and everything, but I'll still look a certain way. Then it becomes a problem. Oh, your things are too tight. How large should I go then? Because I'm wearing my size.
That's a work one.
You don't know what a work wife is?
Looking out for me.
No, him.
Oh,
him at work. Like, and even sometimes you're like, I know Sipo's very busy, so I brought you lunch as well. Like, da. Like,
yes, the men are so privileged.
they are. Hi guys! Welcome to another episode of Chats with the Girls. And today we have
Witness Sipo.
And today we are going to be talking careers.
Mereko.
Yeah. We're gonna go right into the topic. I'm going to start with the expectations you had when you were in varsity. I was at UP and VES. And obviously when you're doing your degree, you have an idea of, once I get to work, I'm going to be loving what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is how the workplace is going to be. Ladies, I want you to talk about like the expectations that you had and the shockers. I want like one thing that shocked your system once you started like working in the actual workplace.
So for context, what I'm currently doing I didn't study for, right?
Really?
I didn't at all. I did a BSc in biological sciences. Yes. And then how I got into my work is that I did a PDM through Business School, and in one of the blocks, it's a postgraduate diploma in management. So it's like a crash course into like the business world. They literally give you all the foundational help you could get, right? So I would say the one thing that program prepared me for is like the different personalities you will get, because they put you into groups called syndicates, and they change them every block. So every block you are dealing with everybody else's personalities, their working styles, how they prefer things done, and all of that. So that's literally the workplace. But when I got to my first employer, I got there, so the first client was just me and another junior consultant. So already I'm just like, what's going on here? And our manager was the type, he was like, this is your client, I need you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it, done, you know. So I'm just like, I need a little bit of support, because she studied IT, so she definitely understands what's going on within like this audit.
And you are
I
there's no biology, there's no biology here.
So the one thing I totally hate is like to not deliver and not know what I'm doing. So I did a lot of research, but still I felt very overwhelmed, because there was a whole section allocated to me, and I quickly realized that this is the expectation, that I know what to do, because in my second client I was all on my own. And with that client, it was just like a shit show from the get-go, because what was communicated to us was different from what we got from the client. And the client, the IT manager had just came in, he did not know where what was. So that was like the shocking part for me, cause
just like being thrown, literally
it was not even like we're throwing you in the deep end, because I'm throwing you into the ocean with the sharks,
bruh. Swim, avoid being, because you think they're gonna do this.
Like, Witness, we need you to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is how you do it. They're like,
figure it out.
I feel like even for me,
how was your experience?
It was exactly the same, actually. And like for me, it was a matter of, it was also affecting the quality work that I produced, and that's what was giving me anxiety. It's not like necessarily that I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable environment, I don't know what to do. It's just that I want to exceed the expectations, and if I don't know what to do, or if like I'm just unfamiliar with what I'm supposed to do, then like it was just a lot, because like I think it is everywhere, or in most places where they just leave you sana to the sharks and the ocean to figure it out with yourself. So it was the same with me, and Another shock for me was actually like also what you said, like dealing with the different people, because in varsity, contrary to like popular belief, I actually quite keep to myself a lot, because even in varsity I had like my circle that I was like comfortable with, but you'd never see me in like social settings or more campusing and stuff like that. Not really. So at least there I had that choice. Now in the workplace, like you can't, like they have events and you have to show up there, and I'm just like, hey, bo,
yeah, I had an internship and then I had a job. But from the point of like when I had my internship, I asked for it. There was a whole seminar. I was like, I like this boss, I like this guy, I want to work for his company. I was expecting it to be like what I see on TV, fun, man. It was, we're gonna be solving things, like, you know, it's like fun every day, like there's a new challenge, it's fun and everything. Then you realize like, okay, first of all, it's very monotonous, like literally you're doing the same thing every day, you're dealing with the same demanding clients every day and everything like that. So that was like my internship. That's when I realized like, okay, this is the conduct. And the biggest shocker to me was the time thing. I still don't get it to this day. Like I'm always ready to be like, challenge me on this thing. You're gonna have to come to work at this time, leave at this time, within those hours, even if I don't have work that will cover those hours, which was annoying. Then my first now real job that I worked at, that's where I knew that personalities can break you. You know, you expect like work to be something that's like for your growth part of thing, and then you realize that work can take over your life, can take over everything. There's no such thing as like that balance that you, because when you're in varsity, you see, I'm gonna start working so I can be able now to buy what I like, do the things that I like, and then it takes over everything. It literally comes in, takes over your whole aspect. Your relationships are affected by this work that you're doing, and also you're dealing with different personalities every day. You have to, in varsity, how you chose your group members was based on the people you're comfortable with. When you get to work, you work with the people that you're given. It doesn't matter if like they don't hold the same thoughts, they don't hold the same like like they don't share the same sentiments. They like you coming from different backgrounds, and you are like, here you come together and you're expected to act a certain way. And then also there's the anxiety, the trauma, because you never prepare for a bad boss, you never prepare for a bad manager. So my expectation versus what I got was like very different.
Like it's a lot. And like with what you say, I think like I expected a little bit of more support. In social settings, people sometimes have to act a certain way in order to be accepted by that specific place, whether it's high school, whatever. In the workplace, I just feel like it's all about what you bring to the institution. I don't think they really cared about this guy, you guys aren't working well together, because now you have to be more understanding to a person that you find as bossy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kanti, in your social setting, you just have the decision. Like for example, if there's a person that's bossy, I'll just be like, I can't have you in my space, thank you very much. But now in the workplace, you actually have to work together with that person. Understand,
because you never expect that you're gonna be crying for 2 years. Like you don't be like, I'm gonna be crying every day for 2 years. I'm crying every day. And it took me to a point where my personality went, I'm someone who's assertive, I'm someone who's strong-willed, I'm someone that like, if I have an idea and I believe in it, I want to push it through. And I got to a point where like I was more on survival mode than anything else, and then I had to learn that. And then I was finally in a space where now I can fight for that. I can like be able to be like, okay, this is me. And it took a lot, even once I changed environments, for me to start being like assertive again. And
because you have the PTSD.
Yeah, I had PTSD because I never know how this is gonna be handled, because being yourself was not accepted. Saying, I want you to tell it, like, what were you expecting? Like, I want you to paint a dream, because even when you see yourself, I saw my outfits, guys. I've always been like clothing. I saw it. There was even in varsity final year, I started like buying formalish clothes, because I was like, this is how I'm gonna look in the office. Bona, the whole time, one thing about me, one place I will never dress up for is work, and I work in a very casual environment. So Jay, if you see me during the week, I look lost. Like, it looks like it's not me. But my expectation was that when I start working, I rocker every day. Then I have to wake up early, and still I was like,
Yeah.
I will save that 30 minutes for sleep instead of getting dressed.
For my expectations, I think the most important one was like the financial aspect. I somehow thought I could do it all with my first salary. Like, even now, like I'm comfortable, but I still could like get more and like really sail in it. But like with my first one, you know, that whole thing, I think I'm gonna get a car, then I'm gonna
That's another one.
like with my first salary, and I'm really grateful to have had like the parents that I do have. They were like, listen, there's absolutely no need for you to like move out of home. Like, stay with us until you have yourself situated. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna do that. And that really helped me, because like in the first year I was at home, obviously I was not necessarily worried about rent and whatever, but I was contributing towards the household. And I was living my best life. So the financial aspect, like, please just kill that expectation right now, because they'll say they are paying you the industry market related price, which doesn't make sense for like the amount of work that you do, because you're gonna find that you're doing something way beyond your job description and scope. And then the other expectation I had was that when you're in the workplace, merit will be based on your work, which is definitely not the case. When people say build your network, like build your social capital, it is not a lie, because your work on its own will not speak for you. People will be like, oh cool, she works, you're the slave, not the person that they necessarily want to promote, which I feel is very unfair, because other people are introverts, other people literally treat a job as a job. I'm here to get things done, you're here, and then you're gonna pay me. But this whole thing of you must be known by this manager, must be known by this partner, must be known by this director, I do not agree with, because you don't need to know who I am, you just need to know what I bring to the table and my work. And then the third one was this whole work culture. What a toxic concept. What a toxic concept. So from my experience, I think corporate will speak the whole thing like, well, family will really care about you, but when you bring certain issues to
the
them,
family meeting, you bring issues to the family meeting, and
so you're made to feel like you're asking for too much, or you're just like being very childish, you know. Because I had an incident with like one of my employers, to a point where I needed to go to a psychiatric clinic, and I hated like the aftermath of it, where I now had to come back and be like, okay guys, this happened, this is how I feel like we should proceed. And what I would have expected from them is to have like channels in place to be like, if an incident like this happens, this is how we're going to mitigate and this is how we're going to do. The mere fact that I now have to come and talk to the directors and managers and say, going forth, I don't want to work with this person, this is how I want to work, was a bit unfair for me, because yet again I'm now in that same position where someone higher up still has like more power than me,
without fully understanding
the situation. So that for me like made it very, very uncomfortable. And even now, like, it's something I'm always very off whenever I'm at the workplace, to be like, even though I know I'm capable of like doing more, I will not offer more, because I've worked with a person who just took to the point where at 12 at night, they don't mind calling you and be like, this needs to get done. The one thing I really am grateful for is that when I got to my first employer, they set me up with the coach, who was really great, and they also gave you like a buddy. So a buddy is like someone who's like more or less like your peer, And like my buddy was like very hands-on from day one. He just learned my personality, so he would literally be like, I don't think you should work with that manager because of your personality. So that already like really set me up really good.
It's actually interesting that you talk about buddies, ne? Because for us in smaller places, I don't know if you relate, we don't have, you don't join and they're like, oh, you're assigned to a buddy, because like literally everyone is assigned to a job. There's no extras or anything. One thing that is like for me personally, it's like, can you really make friends in at work?
Yes,
you can.
I definitely can. I think it's just like being able, the most important thing for me was just like naturally gravitating towards certain people, which is how like Rifle and I basically met. We just naturally gravitated, and I met her during my internship through the person who was assigned to me then. So he introduced me around, she liked me, I liked her, because I even remember her telling Tata, like, please don't abuse this child. And she was like, if he's doing anything, come tell me. I was like, okay, cool. So when I was hired like full time, we just naturally gravitated towards each other. And I've found that like with most of like my work friendships, or like people that were friends through work, it was just through natural thingy means.
It was like natural.
And it also did help that we had like similar interests or like a similar response. You know, like whenever there's work meetings, you're just like, what is this person saying?
What is it?
And you just look at each other and you're just like, I know what you're thinking.
No, I get that. And I think it's gonna bring me back to the fact that you are in a bigger space.
Yes.
When you are in such a small space where like it's like literally the whole company is made of 20 of us, you can be comfortable with some people, but the dynamics for me personally, I feel like they're different, because you guys are in like you're in a certain space.
Maybe let me clarify. So I'm now working at like a significantly smaller company. And that is like the one thing I've been struggling with, because they are very family orientated, but to a point where they know who's having a baby, they know when it's your birthday, and there's like genuine effort behind it. So I'm just used to like corporate where like, if people know it's your birthday, it's cool. If they don't know, you know, you keep it moving. But yeah, it's like a big deal to like celebrate those moments. That is like the flip side of the coin of being like a big corporate where you're just used to everything being controlled. Like, oh, that's Tumi, I know who Tumi is, but beyond Tumi at work, I don't know who that is.
One thing, like I'm saying, is that it's so easy. Say, for instance, I'm having a conversation.
I get you.
It's so easy to get to management because we are literally
management.
We just like within
each
other.
I feel like my struggle now in a smaller company is just being able to be like, okay, it's a smaller company. Like, how do I navigate a friendship? Because everybody is so close to each other that if I were to say do something bad, everyone knows about it, you know. So that is like the difference.
Like, because for me, I've realized like it's easy, like management and like levels are not so levels.
It's, understand. Are you saying your struggle with making friendships in your workspaces because like the levels are so close to each other, so you're not comfortable with being friends with someone?
Because we are a community in such a way that we know everything about each other. It's like such a close-knit thing that if your friend who's Sipo can be like talking to witness who's a manager one day and they spill out, oh, Tumi said they don't like who, and then it affects how I grow within the company. So you're just
cautious. Have you ever had an experience, or you're just cautious?
I'm cautious. Okay. I've always been a cautious person. I always say don't be personal in at work, because you can say one thing and then next thing somebody, when they're emotional, can say the other thing. I feel like if I was in a bigger space, like in a big corporate place where there's a lot of people, we become friends because like we are forming that family for ourselves. But like in a smaller company, it's like we are big, like, you know, like a big family. I have actually experienced that way. I was starting to be now closer to my friends, to my colleagues, which is something that's not natural to me. And then I expressed something out of anger because something happened with the manager, and then it came out from the manager that he found out, and I was like, oh, it's that simple. I can be friendly, but I'm not gonna bring you into my personal space, because I don't want you to be like we are in a boardroom and then you're like, oh yeah, I know you can twerk.
I think I get that.
And
I feel
will
like
hate
even
it
with
because I'm trying in
Yes.
the workplace. I'm not saying I'm living a double life. I am different in the workplace than when I am. Yes, I'm still myself in terms of like emotions and everything. I handle things in a certain way, but you see, like I am even more mature in the workplace. Like I know that feeling. I put feelings last in the workplace.
Do you not think then that is a reflection of that person, but not necessarily friendships? Because if someone is your friend, they still want you to thrive in the workplace, and they know when it's time to play and when it's time to work. Yeah.
I think I still have to figure that out. Like I said, I think it's because in my first workplace it was so stressful that I focused on progress, and once I got to like marketing manager and I was like, okay, this is my position, and sometimes I have to tell people that are even older than me to act accordingly. So if we are laughing together at lunch, it's gonna come back at me when I'm asking you to be doing your things. So I decided, you know what, friendships at work are not gonna work. I'm gonna like nurture friendships outside, because when it comes back, you are trying to, you're undermining me based on our friendship.
I think for me, it was a stance of like I kind of am the same, but it's also just because it takes me quite some time to formulate friendships, and like even in the workplace, I'm really not interested in like being friends. But I think for me, it was also the fact that I also have like such a public platform in terms of like the channel that like, I don't know how to say it, like people maybe in the workplace wouldn't be able to differentiate how I am in my space and with my people and how I am
on your channel,
on like at work.
I see what you mean.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I would be like, yeah, we saw your channel there doing this, and now like I don't want to speak about that here,
and I don't want to
be
that here.
Yes.
I'm not that here.
It's not that I'm a different. Like, I have like multiple personalities. It is just that I'm just here to do my job.
Yeah, let's do a job and move.
Yeah. Have you guys had any experience with like dress code where you've been made to feel uncomfortable, or someone has questioned what you were wearing?
I wore white skinny jeans to work, and a colleague of mine who's a woman was already like, you're brave for wearing that. And you know what the weird part is, you know why I remember this vividly? She wears white pants a lot, but now because it was me with all my curves and all my thickness, it's different. It's perceived differently. Like for me, I've realized, like, you know what, there's this one lady at work, she's super comfortable. Like during we have brainstorms and stuff, so when we are preparing for a client pitch, we have a brainstorm first, we have everything. She does a lot of things like that. I feel like if I did, it was gonna be like Tumi's being ultra sexual at work, because if I put my leg and then start moving in a certain way, it's sexual. It's not just be me like thinking in my thinking head. I'm trying to think, we are brainstorming, and I was like, I literally looked at it and I was like, this is based on sexuality, because if I did that, I know for a fact I would be at HR saying that I made the men feel a certain way. So I've realized also, it's not, as a woman, we are not allowed to dress in a certain way, but especially when you are a certain body type.
Also black,
because we are like sexualized like crazy. Like I don't understand why. I can wear the same skirt as Karen, and it will be covering my knees and everything, but I'll still look a certain way. Then it becomes a problem. Oh, your things are too tight. How large should I go then? Because I'm wearing my size. It's just like how I look. But then again, generally as women, we are told hide your shoulders and everything like that. I'm just like, it doesn't make sense for me. It's insane. Why am I hiding my shoulders? For whose comfort? Because for me, I'm comfortable with my shoulders showing. Why am I supposed to hide them?
I was wearing a black jumpsuit, like very loose and everything, but because it was like a hot day in September, I took off the cardigan I was wearing. And then I remember, and I really do appreciate how she approached me, because she was like, listen, I just need you to put your cardigan on, because when somebody else within this organization comes at you, they will not come at you with like the same level of kindness that I'm coming at you. She's like, I don't find anything wrong, but like that is the culture here. And I was like, okay, cool.
No shoulders.
Yeah, and I was like, and it was like a thin strap. Hey,
like, bruh, it's not
one.
even like the thin stripes.
And I was like, you know what, it's fine. I'm not going to argue with this. It's my last day here. I don't even know if I'm coming back. So cool. Now I'm like working full time and it's winter. My winter attire at work is stockings, a shade dress, and a blazer. But because winter can be sometimes crazy here, in the morning it's like super cold, then in the afternoon it's like hot. So I had like taken out my blazer and was wearing like the shirt dress. So it was like short sleeve, was here, stockings, and wearing boots. So I'm like working from the cafeteria and someone's like, I think that dress is like a little bit too short. And I was like, you know what, I'm ready today, you came correct, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I just feel like it's really like framing everything, that we literally can see everything. And as we're speaking, this other white lady walks past wearing a similar outfit, and I'm like, are you also gonna check her for the same thing, or is that just only directed to me? He's like, no. I was like, we can go to HR right now. And that person never ever addressed me with like dress code, because I was like, and I was like, please look at
that's
her.
my issue.
And I remember I went
thing
close to her.
wearing,
I was like, hers is even shorter. Your only issue with me is that I am black. I've got a bum. You can see my hips.
I'm sick, yeah.
Like, I'm very comfortable in my body. Like, I will not lie about that. I'm very comfortable in it.
I've never really had an experience like that, if I'm being honest. It's
bless
only
God.
at school. Like, at school, like, that was like very prominent. But in the workplace,
I know.
I'd be lying. I've never.
Guys, even in school, obviously my mom was not going to be like approving of me wearing a skirt this short. But I just never got that whole thing, oh yeah, like girls should wear skirts that are under their knees. The rugby boys are wearing their shirts one size smaller, like everything is showing.
Protruding, yeah.
We are also experiencing hormones. What if like I'm here raping you with my ass, like like it's that thing, like no one ever had the conversation with guys like, you know what, your dick print is showing too much. Like no one has that conversation with men.
Definitely.
Like no one is saying like, oh, your shirt doesn't fit you, wear a looser shirt, those type of things. And they're still not happening even in the workplace, where it's always women, oh, you look inappropriate, you can't be looking like that.
And I feel like
you
it's
can't
always
be
black women specifically.
Yeah. Is your work wife really a work wife or a wife?
Ooh, guys, no, let's not close this without talking about work wives and husbands.
That's a work wife.
You don't know what a work wife is?
A work wife is like that person that's like looking out for you at workplace, and you like will jokingly say like, oh, that's my husband or whatever. But like some people have taken it a step further to like that being a person who they either like having other sexual relations with, or you're like,
who's
But
looking out for
sometimes
you?
let's not even go to sex. A work wife is, I'm going to make, because I'm better at explaining, I'm going to make an example. So say for instance, when he has a woman friend at work that literally takes a role of sort of a wife, taking care of you, looking out for you, sometimes even comfortable with bringing you lunch.
Looking out for
dinners.
me?
no,
Him.
Oh,
Him
yes.
at work. Like, and even sometimes you're like, I know Siko's very busy, so I brought you lunch as well. Like, Like,
Yes,
literally.
and men are so privileged.
they are. It's a thing. Like, it literally is a thing.
Wow, I'm a daughter.
And I've had,
Wow,
I'm not
it's
gonna.
nice.
So I've explained to you what a work wife is. Right?
Guys,
No, guys,
like
I'm
men
telling
are so
you, there's
privileged.
really
I mean,
such a thing.
women can also have work
Yeah,
husbands.
you can also have a work husband.
Okay.
So
okay,
which-
I don't look at it.
Yeah.
Okay,
How would
cool.
you? Yeah, you can also, as a woman, have a work husband. So how do you feel about it? Do you feel like it's harmful? It's no harmless thing. Like, you know, it's just a friendship. That's that point. Like, these people are looking out for each other in the workplace. Whereas, as the partner, I don't know what's happening in the dynamics of that workplace.
I feel
So-
like if it was really a friendship and
I
people
would know
looking
about
for
it.
each other, I don't even think like the title would be appropriate. I don't see like
It's a little title. They say I'm your work wife. I'm your work
I'm
husband.
just saying that if it was really like a friendship, just like me, like I'm saying if I would do it and like just take care of like a friend, then I wouldn't even be comfortable with that title, work husband. So andiyazi kabanye bayithini into yabo, but ingathi khona into engaphaya.
I know. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, I mean, when boundaries start being crossed, you're also very like secretive about like what the nature of that relationship is. The minute you start like catching yourself when you're talking to your partner about like the dynamics of that relationship, then you know that like lines.
Yeah, it's been crossed. Have you ever been in such a relationship where you felt like you're a work wife or work? Okay,
I have siblings at work. Definitely not a work husband.
You say brother, sister, like whatever.
Like, you know, there's some people where like you guys have been like so close and you're just like, I treat that person like an older brother or like a younger sister. Yeah, that's it.
I've never.
It's the way you're laughing.
In the workplace.
You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing so hard. If I were to drop the bomb, I had a work husband or a work wife, and my husband is at the back because he's producing the show. But no, I have never had. And he knows, like, for me, like, I'm a spill all type of person. Like, as soon as I get home, hey, did this, and I went to lunch with who. I'm that type of person, and I'm like the guy. For me, one thing he knows is that I'm more drawn to guys, so I will always have guy friends. Like my conversations are always based around guy friends. That's the biggest thing. But I've never taken the role of being their work wives or them being my work husband. When he's around, I can be like, oh yeah, my husband's gonna come up, you guys can even chill together. Like even now he has like the closest friends that are my guy friends that he just adopted from us being in a relationship. At my old job, like there was someone who said I just felt like they were crossing boundaries. I was just like, no, even if like his wife is not bringing him food or lunch, it's not your place. Like they've established
also, why
that
is
it's
that
not your place.
partner not communicating? Like if like ish, like I feel like it's just blurring, like it's crossing boundaries. Because if you if someone wants to provide me lunch because they saying that my at home, like I'm not like I sell lunch or whatever, I need that.
A work partnership.
You are work wife.
You told them about
Yeah.
So why aren't you communicating that with your partner?
But that's the thing, like that's always the issue. People don't communicate things that they don't want or things that they would like to be done in a relationship.
So now you go to your work wife and tell your
like,
work wife.
like that's for me that's crazy, because then obviously if I'm trying to be like my husband, or like I'm just making an example with Sandi's, if you would say, but I feel like you're not doing this for, if someone really cares about you, there's absolutely no way they wouldn't do something that's important to you.
Yeah, if it's
so I feel like why would I to communicate about you not doing lunch for me? I think it's important, and then prioritize
if it's that important. But like work wives also go the extra mile of like now picking up things that are not, because also I feel that's why I really brought it up, because I feel like it's too much. Like you can be friends with someone at work and it's fine. For me, I don't mind if my husband is friends with guys or girls, because for us, since our relationship started, we've known that like I'm comfortable with being friends with guys and everything, but I don't necessarily now have this relationship that replaces him. Like this work wife thing, like the thing is, there was a relationship like that where I felt like you are crossing the line because this person has a real wife, has a real family, and you are now, and even the inappropriateness comes like, oh no, she's my work wife, they're holding, they're cozy, like those things really, they're really a thing. They build up, like they literally start being, I was just like, oh, it's just my work wife. Do you see how deep that is? Like now, once you start thinking about it, like you are actually building a relationship with someone else, and then you're just terming it as a funny thing of saying, oh, so you're my work wife.
Yeah, and even though you might think of it as like I just spend 8 hours at work, 8 hours
is
how
most
many
of your
years?
day. Yeah,
like 40 hours is a lot with people you see every day. Especially in a place that can be so stressful. you're bound to develop a relationship with them and cross the lines.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed.
I have never really heard about this, so I'm just
Really?
like absolutely shocked. Yeah, I am. Maybe it's because I'm not like in terms of work. I'm just there to do my job. Leave me alone.
And also, I
Please.
think maybe you haven't worked in a certain place for like a long time. With no fucking ways. Is my husband telling me, oh yeah, please just wash who's lunch tin. Hey boy! Am I being tested? Yeah, I wouldn't. We'd like to thank the Don. Please follow him
Keep
on
it soft.
Keep It Soft Instagram for all the recipes for the cocktails. Today we had a red wine sangria with vodka, and for the full recipe, please follow on Instagram.
Thank you guys. Don't forget to let us know what you think. YZ, and oh my gosh, everything that we spoke about today. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.
And for more content like this, please subscribe.
Yes. Bye.
I discovered the clit. Yeah. The dad discovered my clit. I almost fell.